But you look at what's going on in Chicago.
He recently reposted an episode that was based on a presentation we put together for CrimeCon.
Venerated for over 1,000 years, this was once the most prized relic in Christendom, and housed within one of the four famous pillars.
Simple common sense. This is simple common sense.
Captain confirming.
But until communist. I'm a socialist Democrat. No, it's communism. It is communism. And Zoran Mandani is the guy that will be elected. I love Curtis Sliwa. I want to see Curtis Sliwa as the mayor of New York, but I know it's not going to happen. If I was a resident of New York City, I would vote for him. I would call on my friends, relatives to vote for him. But I have no faith in the people of New York. They voted in Hochul.
Unit ready.
They continue to vote
Analyzing schematics.
Chuck Schumer in.
Building.
I have the tools.
AOC.
Unit ready.
They know
Engineering.
nothing
Analyzing schematics.
about what would make New York a better state and what would
Need a
make New
repair?
York City a
Analyzing
better
schematics.
city. So
Engineering.
I
Analyzing
have
schematics.
every part of me knows damn well that Zoran Mamdani is going to be the mayor of New York City. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Unit ready.
But that's what's going to happen. I hate it, but it's going to happen.
Squared away, sir.
And one of the things he talks about is New York will be safer under a Zoran Mamdani administration. Now, we watched Giuliani over the course of the years. You know, truth be told, on September 10th, 2001, Giuliani was hated. He wasn't a liked mayor of New York because he did what needed to be done. A lot of people didn't like it. He got rid of all the nonsense that was going on in the city. Tourism was up. You know, New York is a lot of the money New York makes is tourism.
Analyzing schematics. Ready.
Bound forward. People are like, he's taking away the porn video stores and prostitution and drugs. And he's keeping people from jumping the turnstiles. And what it amounted to was an amazing renaissance of New York City. People couldn't get enough of this city. A lot of tourism started up. You saw Times Square turn into Disney Times Square. And it worked well for New York.
Let's show them what we got.
And Bloomberg did a good job following up on it. He was a liberal, but he was also a businessman and knew what it took for New York to make money. Once de Blasio got that communist just screwed everything. And then Adams, the same thing. This guy, if you ask me, is a racist. Anything having to do with white people, he hates it. Anything having to do with controlling crime in the city. You know, you got to do that. What was it called? The broken window policy under Giuliani. Yeah, shake down these people committing the smaller crimes, and you'll expose people doing bigger crime. And you'll make the city a better place. Well, they just couldn't deal with that. They looked at New York City and said, well, I don't know. Maybe these people aren't so bad. Maybe you got to have judges and attorneys generals and people that are going to let them out of jail and no bail. That's a good thing.
Ready to
no
roll.
bail.
Construction.
Tools
And
of the trade.
Mamdani,
Running
who
smooth.
will win. I hate saying it.
Cannot deploy.
I wish
Building.
Curtis was going to win. But truth be told, Mamdani,
Yes, sir.
will, if I could bet $1 million on it, I would. Mamdani will be your mayor of New York City. And here he is talking about violence. And we all know violence in New York City is terrible. But he doesn't think it's actually violence. It's a social construct. Let's listen, shall we?
Oftentimes, we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree. We have
Destination, Commander?
The
Good to go.
district attorneys in New
Ready to
York,
roll.
they
Yes, sir.
are
Unit reporting.
perpetrating
Outstanding.
violence,
Destination, Commander?
but
High
against
speed,
the
low drag.
people of New
Yes,
York.
sir. Good to go.
They're releasing
Low drag.
these
Securing position.
violent animals back out on the street.
Repairing.
He said violence is a social construct. When you listen to someone like Mamdani and they talk about crime in New York City, it's the same thing. You ever watch these videos? I love
Yes, sir. Outstanding.
watching traffic stop videos.
Ready to
Cops,
soar.
body cams, people in the car. And what you see a lot of the times is, why did you pull me over? And then the cop explains it. And then
Unit
you
reporting.
get,
High speed, low drag.
give me your license and insurance and Reggie. And they go, I don't have my license.
Mean, green, unseen.
And then they say, I know my rights. I don't have to give you anything. And the cop says, can you step out of the vehicle? This is a legal
On our way.
request that I'm making.
Yes, sir. Bound for.
Pennsylvania, or Mims versus Pennsylvania.
Ready to roll.
And they say,
Securing
I'm not
position.
stepping out of the vehicle. I know my rights.
Check out the drag. Want some shade?
And meanwhile,
Laying low.
the police are completely within their jurisdiction to remove someone from a vehicle during a traffic stop.
Natural sanctuary.
And they just don't do it. And then they get dragged out of the vehicle and put on the ground and cuffed. It always ends the same way.
Mean, green, unseen.
And then you hear him go,
Laying low.
you dragged me out of the car and arrested me for a blinker? Because I didn't have a directional?
Vehicle ready.
No,
High
you
speed, low
escalated this to this point. And that's the same thing Mamdani's saying. Oh,
Mean, green,
we don't want to arrest
sir.
people
Perfect hideout.
for violence, because a lot of things aren't violent. He said that taking a package from someone's porch, you get, Amazon drops something off, and then some thug
Unit
comes over
reporting.
and
Bound
takes
forward.
your possession.
Unit ready.
That's not a violence. Well, no. Normally it isn't. But if the homeowner comes out and says, what are you doing?
Good to go. Ready as
Stop
ever.
taking
Oh,
my
yes, I agree.
possessions. And the person taking it turns around and goes, yeah, come
Of
here.
course.
I'm going to kick your ass, or you're not going to. That's violence. That is a violent, strong-armed robbery.
Squared away, sir.
But they always
On the
do
move.
the same thing. I'm dragged out of the car for a blinker?
Training.
Oh, I'm a violent criminal for
Nobody
taking
here
a
but us trees.
package?
Going
No.
mobile. Want
It's
some
what
shade?
you followed up with and did.
Replanting. Aren't the trees
You
lovely?
took a package,
Replanting.
threatened the homeowner that said, why are you
Going
stealing
mobile.
from me?
Hello, sir.
And this, put it to any crime you see
Mean,
happen.
green, and unseen. Aren't the
They
trees
will
lovely?
try to
Replanting.
talk about it like it's
Rockets in the
some
sky.
inconsequential
I can go
nothing.
anywhere.
I was just
I'll
doing
take the high
this.
road.
And
Need a
Mamdani literally wants to make these crimes Nothing. Maybe a simple violation.
Ready to soar.
And that's why we're seeing
Rockets
people
in the
that
sky.
are let out of
They
jail
won't see it coming.
18, 19, 20 felony arrests. Because it's not a felony arrest. He didn't have a headlight. He didn't stop at a stoplight. Oh, when the cop stopped him,
Aren't the trees
he had a gun in the car, he had drugs, he had this, but he was stopped for, some inconsequential traffic violation. You never want to go a little further and see what's happening. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this when we come back in moments. Don't go back.
How about some action?
Adore respects Roger Stone. Anthony Cunha. You can catch my show Sunday
Up
evening,
and over.
8 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern Time,
Thank you.
WABC Radio. And, I was talking about Mamdani,
Positional data received.
and some people go, hey, that's a local thing. It's New York City, Anthony. This show is all over the country.
Up and over.
Why don't you talk about something else? Well,
Tools of the trade.
okay,
Watch my dust.
let's do that.
Reinforcements.
How about
Positional
Chicago?
condition received.
Chicago.
Unit
Close.
promoted.
Mayor Johnson and Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois. What a disaster
Positional data received.
Unit
that
ready.
state and city is under their tenure. You look at what's going on in Chicago. The body count
Unit ready.
every weekend is astounding.
Unit lost.
And Donald Trump says, hey, let's go in there
Look natural.
and try to quell the murder, the deaths of civilians going on in Chicago, Illinois.
Orders.
Let's take a look at Washington, D.C. Let's see what Trump did there. Days, 10 days, I think, a couple of weeks maybe went by without a murder.
Unit ready.
Everything's made to fit.
And this is something that was unprecedented. Murders happen all the time in D.C. and Chicago and Atlanta and Frisco, Oakland, L.A., New York. Do I have to?
Estimated
Unit lost. Reinforcements.
But you look at what's going on in Chicago. And Trump, what he did in D.C., he goes, hey, how about we just do that in Chicago, Memphis, Portland, and the leadership, which is in those states and those cities go, no, we don't need you. We're doing great on our own. Crime is down. Meanwhile, they crunch these numbers, they fake them. We see it. Years ago, we probably couldn't, but with the internet, with all the videos that we see going on in these states and the crime stats, we go, yeah,
Player defeated.
it is terrible.
New construction
And when the citizens are saying, hey, yeah, thank you, Donald Trump, please, let's get the National Guard in. Let's get ICE and the Border Patrol. Let's hook up with local law enforcement and try to help the citizens that are under siege. And the leadership, the mayors and governors in these blue states and cities are just going, no one wants you here. Everyone wants you. Who doesn't? Who are they siding? The thugs, the criminals, the gang members. They're the ones that don't want law enforcement. I gotta tell you, when I see the National Guard and ICE and the Border Patrol and local law enforcement in conjunction with the President and the National Guard actually smacking these people around, tossing them on the racks.
Everything's made to fit.
It ain't like the old days, man. It ain't like the old days. And I couldn't be happier seeing this. I don't think any real American doesn't feel that they love seeing what these law enforcement agencies are doing. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I thank Roger Stone for letting me fill in. And you can catch me Sunday night, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern on WABC. Have a great rest of your weekend, people.
I've confronted hundreds of men over 2 decades. Men online looking for children to sexually assault.
Cody, I'm Chris Hayes. I know who you are.
I tried to get into their heads and understand why.
But you open on your phone. That's true.
And ultimately make sure they face justice.
Can I just give you some money and leave?
I don't want money. I want the truth.
These are the predators I've caught. I'm Chris Hansen. One of the stunning things about the predators I've caught is that in many cases, they have an opportunity to avoid being caught. Initially, when they find out the age of the person they're talking to during the sting operation, they say, oh, that's not for me. I can't do that. It's illegal. It's immoral. It's wrong. I'm looking for adult fun. And in those cases, well, those folks have done the right thing. And they're, as I say, free to leave. They don't even show up when they say that, actually. But in many cases, and this speaks to why this crime is so ubiquitous, we have circumstances where a guy will engage in a conversation, find out the age, say no, walk away from it, and then minutes or hours or sometimes days later, get back on and say, hey. Was selling a foster child for sex. And if you think that's far-fetched, think again, because it happens across America all the time, this sort of human trafficking. You know, I woke up in northern Michigan the other day as we were conducting a sting up there with the Dickinson County Sheriff's Office and Marquette County Sheriff's Office. And I had left the television on, and I woke up and there was a public service announcement, and it was very disturbing. And it was actually a scenario where a dad was selling his son for sex, and I couldn't sleep afterwards. I was so disturbed by it. And yet, you know, people need to see that sort of thing. And again, if you think it's
24/7
overboard or it's just an attempt for an organization to raise funds, I'm here to tell you, it really happens. And guys are willing to take advantage of it. So Willie, who had been in trouble with the law before, and we'll get into that in a minute here, is online looking for
won't be late. Got the plans right here.
And he gets into this conversation, and I'll share it with you here, with somebody who says they're parent, and that parent is pimping out their 15-year-old foster daughter. After saying no, he gets back online and says that she's still available. Yes, she is still available. What's the rules? Willie wants to know.
Need a repair?
What are you wanting to do with her first? And rule one, nothing freaky. What do she do? Willie wants to know. No anal for sure. What are you wanting? And I will tell you if she will do it.
Unit ready.
Sex.
Unit lost.
Vehicle ready.
He asks. This is the undercover posing as the foster parent.
Insufficient
If
funds.
you do that, you wear a condom.
On the go.
I don't need her 15
hello,
and
sir.
Prego.
Oh, hello, sir. You'll
Willie,
get the
okay.
cash in a flash.
You bring condom.
Unit
Yes.
ready.
Would you want to come? Now. Willie is one of those guys we classify as a fast mover.
Unit ready.
Once you get there, take a pic and show me you're serious. I will then send you the address of where we are. We haven't stood up before, and I need to know you are serious.
Building.
Let me know when you're on your way.
Ready.
Willie, okay.
Unit ready.
So the photo is sent from Willie, showing that he's in the area.
Solid as a rock, sir.
The undercover posing as the foster parent says that they'll meet Willie in the lobby. But then he doesn't show up right away. Willie says online, "I'm not standing you up. That hotel looks like a setup for an undercover sting. And you are choosing your words carefully. You're asking a question with a question. It seems suspicious. Only if we try it another way. That's safe and look more believable." The detective says, "If you don't want to meet her, I understand. I'm not the cops, no cops here. But whatever, don't waste our time." Again, Willie has it out. "I'm not wasting your time. I want to meet, but not there.
Unit ready.
Do you want to meet early this morning?" he asks. "She has school in the morning." "Well, we ain't meeting you outside of here because I want to meet in an open lobby so you don't hurt us. I don't know you, plus you could be the cops." Willie says, "The same way you feel and think about me, I'm thinking the same thing about you. You could be a cop. You could yell rape, or worse, you could rob me. How do I know you are not setting me up? So until we both can come to an agreement that we both feel safe, it's a firm no-go. If you come up with a solution, you got my number." The detective says, "Why the hell would I send you to a place in a lobby with cameras if I wanted to rob you?
Building.
I want to make sure if you don't want to, I understand. But I'm not leaving my safe place." Again, Willie has an out. "Have a great night," says the detective. "Thanks for wasting our time."
Unit reporting.
Unit ready.
Willie's not
Tech
done yet.
building lost.
He says, "It's two of you, one of me.
Unit ready.
And you're both females. One is underage. You have to see my concerns.
Unit ready.
What does she want to do for 30 minutes? Give me a raise." So now he's back negotiating. He's worried, but he's worried about getting caught. He's not worried about sexually assaulting a child.
Going mobile.
They go back and forth a little while longer. And then Willie says he's on his way. Now you're about to see Willie doesn't
Building.
do exactly what the detective asks, but he does show up with the intent to have sex with a child.
Destination, Commander?
And what
Ready to
happens
roll.
next
Good to go.
is among the most
Unit ready.
wild and crazy scenes I have seen
Look
in
natural.
21
Yes, sir.
years
Bound
of
forward.
investigating predators.
Check out the view.
More about this predator I've caught
Yes, sir.
in a
Securing
moment.
position.
This is the latest photo of Willie to add to his portfolio, but it's not for modeling, it's one for his extensive collection of mugshots.
Unit reporting.
Construction.
Weapons ready.
He's the latest man to be captured during Operation Cyber Guardian in Polk County, Florida.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
45-year-old Willie reached out to a Polk County Sheriff's Office detective posing as a foster mother to a 15-year-old girl. And before Willie shows up, I talked to one of the detectives, the one who's going to pose as the mother selling the girl,
Ready to roll.
about 45-year-old Willie's background. Now, this is back in February of 2024 during Operation Cyber Guardian 2 in Polk County, Florida, with Sheriff Grady Judd and his team. What do we know about Willie?
We know Willie's a registered sex
A
offender.
registered sex offender. Out of Georgia?
Yes.
And do we know anything about that case?
We know that he had some involvement with a minor. We don't know. We're still doing some digging on that.
Destination, Commander.
And he's been chatting
Vehicle
online
ready.
with somebody who he thinks is a foster mother of a teenage girl.
Yes.
Unit ready.
And give me a sense for the conversation.
Sense of the conversation is he knew right off the bat that the foster mom was kind of having some difficulties with some payments with bills, and he knew that he was coming to engage in sex with a 15-year-old for money. He knew the amounts, $100 for a half hour, $225 for an hour. And he would never really say what he wanted to do. He was very standoffish about that, and very secretive and very
cagey.
Yes, sir.
Literally just minutes ago, a license plate reader picked up the suspect's car in this area within 10 minutes of where we are right now. Same thing happened last time. But tonight we think he'll be here. Willie is taken down in the hotel parking lot. He doesn't go willingly.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Ready to roll. High speed.
Don't break those glasses.
Replanting disc in
Arrest me for.
Willie wants to know why he's being arrested. He's also concerned about his glasses, his hat, and ultimately something else he's wearing on his head.
Talk about it in just a minute.
I'm just getting off.
Securing position. Disc inside. Can I get one, Lakeland? Get off report. I can go anywhere.
I want my lawyer. Y'all harassing me. I want my lawyer. I want my lawyer. I want my lawyer. I want my lawyer.
Hey, someone open that security tag.
Y'all harassing me for no reason. I want my lawyer. This is what they do to people for no reason. This is what y'all doing to me. I call my lawyer.
Willie is brought into the hotel room for questioning.
I'm just getting off work.
Good day, Commander.
Willie claims he was just getting off of work, a law-abiding citizen trapped by the police.
I'm just getting off work. I'm just getting off work, man. I want my lawyer. Y'all got me in this room for nothing. What is all this? What is all this? Under arrest for what? Under arrest for what? I want to talk to my lawyer.
Securing position.
As you can hear and see, Willie invokes his right to have legal counsel. But then he sees me, and he sees the television cameras, and at least for a short period of time, he thinks, I'm going to be on his side. I'm going to provide him protection from the police, the sheriff's office.
I ain't got nothing to say to y'all. I get my lawyer. I want to know why y'all harassing me.
An agitated and argumentative Willie makes a sudden movement. He doesn't get far. Willie tries to get up.
Oh, hello, sir.
He's reminded he's not allowed to leave.
Get that on film. Get that on film. Get that on film. I want my lawyer to see that. I want my lawyer to see what you just did.
He's got no place to hide.
Ain't got nothing to say to y'all. I'm suing this
Ready to
state.
soar. Pushing away.
What is this, Polk County? I'm suing Polk County.
And he says he's going to take legal action against Polk County.
Harass me again. Hit me again. Hit me again, sir. Hit me again, sir.
Fuel tanks are filled.
Hit me again, sir. I don't got nothing to say to y'all. I don't speak no English. I don't speak no English. What are you searching me for?
This is under arrest.
Under arrest for what? I'm not meeting no minor. What minor?
Ready to soar. How about some action?
It's not over. I ain't got nothing to say to y'all. Don't speak to me. Don't speak to me. I'm waiting for my lawyer to get a hold of
Ready to
you.
roll.
He's saying don't speak to me, but he keeps speaking.
Yes, sir.
And he
Securing
seems
position.
pretty familiar
Assault.
with how the law works
Ready to roll.
and how
Securing position.
arrests go down. Trying to plant doubt, seeds of mistreatment.
I'm suing. What's your name? I don't give you the right to search me.
You check out the view.
We're not asking. Well, you violate my rights. Touching my body.
If you resist, there will be additional charges on you.
Well,
Okay?
you might want to take me to jail.
You are going to jail.
Well,
You're
if I go to
under
jail,
arrest, okay?
if I go to jail, I'm suing this
Need a
county.
repair? I won't be
All right,
ready
your
to soar.
person's going to
Clear
be
out the
searched.
place.
Okay, so I need you to stand up for this.
Grab me up. Grab me up.
You're perfectly capable.
I can't get up. I can't get up.
You're done. Stand up.
I can't get up because he hit my leg. He straightened my leg.
Go anywhere.
He's claiming he was injured in the takedown. We didn't see any evidence of that.
He put something on me, sir. He put something on me, sir. He grabbed me, sir. He put something on me. They put that on me, sir. That's not mine.
Detectives find a condom.
Laying low.
Willie claims it was planted.
Creeping natural sanctuary.
That's not mine. He just put that on me. He just put that on me. That's not mine. That's not mine. That's not mine. That's not mine. You put that on me. You put that on me.
And then there's something else. We've only seen it a few times over the years, but Willie was so agitated, and apparently his bladder so full, that he relieved himself on himself during the course of his arrested interview.
Nothing can stop us.
Did you pee yourself?
Yes, you pissed. You made me pissed on myself. I had to use the bathroom. That's why I was stopping at the store over there. I hope y'all getting this on tape. I want my lawyer to see this.
If what you heard shocks you so far, join us back in a moment.
Destination, Commander? On our way, sir. Let's load up the
Stop playing stuff on me, man. I don't have nothing on me. Y'all putting stuff on me. Stop putting stuff in my hand.
The search continues. Detectives look at his ball cap to make sure there's nothing there. Underneath the ball cap, he was wearing a do-rag.
Don't take my do-rag off. You just took it off. You violated my right. Stop choking me, man. Stop choking me.
Ready. Bound forward.
There's nothing in my shoe.
Vehicle ready. Securing position. On the prowl.
Putting stuff in my shoe. Did you get that on tape when you slam me on the ground? Y'all get that on tape when he slam me on the ground?
Then Willie decides he wants to make a phone call to his brother, which the detectives allow.
This is me, man. Hey, they got me arrested, say I'm trying to pick up some underage, whatever. I don't know what they got me at, but I need you to come get me out. What is this, Polk County? Polk County. Come get me.
The Willie show continues. He claims things are being planted on him, on his clothes, in his pockets. He claims he was abused physically. And he wants my crew to capture all this, because he thinks it will be evidence he can use in his defense or in a lawsuit against the county. Good luck.
I refuse to speak to you.
You don't have to speak to me. I'm explaining to you.
If I don't want to speak to you, then why are you talking to me?
Because I'm explaining to you what you're under arrest for. You should already know this. It's not your first rodeo.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
You're a sex offender.
Yes, I am, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Willie admits that he is a sex offender and he's registered from a case back in Georgia.
What I mean is that you should be aware of what you can and can't do. What you can't do is you should be able to be contacting minors.
I'm not contacting anybody. Okay. I haven't contacted anybody.
Okay. Well, your phone records are going to prove different.
Well, that's not my phone.
Okay. Well, it was in the car with you.
That's not my phone.
With you, sir.
The detective lays out the charges against him.
Communicating with an adult who is selling or minor sex.
That's a lie. I don't even know what you're talking about.
So you're being arrested for human trafficking,
on the prowl.
sex,
that's a lie.
And a couple other felonies.
That's a lie.
Right? You'll have your day in court, but that's what you're being charged.
That's a lie. I didn't do it.
And now I'm going to try to have a few words with Willie. I'm not sure how this is going to go. Sometimes guys like this will just go on and on and on, and sometimes they'll tell me to go pound sand. Let's see what Willie says to me.
Hey, sir.
Sir,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not with the sheriff's department.
Securing
I'm a reporter.
I don't care. You see what they slammed on the ground.
This might be my last chance to talk to you.
You on their side or my side?
I'm on your side of truth, sir, so I just need to hear your side of the story.
I ain't got nothing to say to y'all.
There's three sides to every story. Their side.
You on my side or their side?
I'm on your side to get the truth.
So just tell me what's going on. I'm not going to get a chance.
I'm not telling you anything.
Okay, I'm not going to get a chance to talk to you again, so this is your chance to tell people.
You're gonna take what I say and twist it.
I'm not going to twist it.
Y'all lying. Y'all lying. I ain't got nothing to say.
Okay, well, here's what you need to know. You're Willie. I'm Chris Hansen. And I do stories on men who try to meet kids for sex.
I didn't meet anybody.
Then tell me what happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, then you tell me.
They slammed me out of my car for no reason.
Okay.
Ready to
How did that happen?
I don't know what you're talking about. Get out of my face.
Okay. Well,
get out of my face, man. Get out of my face. I'm talking to my lawyer.
Willie, this is
You're harassing me.
Willie?
You're harassing me.
I'm not harassing you.
Yes, you are. Get out of my face, man.
Willie, you've gone to prison before for having sex with a child.
I haven't been to prison.
You've never been to prison?
No, I ain't been to prison. That's a lie. Get out of my face.
You've been to jail?
Get out of my face, man.
Willie, the picture that is starting to emerge here is that you are a registered sex offender from Georgia, and now you're down here in Florida trying to have sex with a teenager.
Get out of my face, man.
After you had contact
Get out of my face, man.
with someone you thought was the child.
Take me on to jail. Wait till my lawyer hear this. Wait till my lawyer hear this.
Well, I'll hear from your lawyer.
Wait till my lawyer hear this. Y'all planning stuff on me.
Who planted what?
Y'all planning stuff on me.
You had condoms. You had a condom in your pocket. You had a condom in your pocket.
It's not mine.
Willie,
This is your chance on me.
This is your chance to talk. And
Get out of my face. I don't know who you are.
You're sounding like a predator.
Get out of my face. Get out of my face.
Willie?
Get out of my face.
This is your chance.
Get out of my face.
Tick tock.
Get out of my face.
Time's running out. You don't want to tell your side of the story. Because this is going to be on the TV. It's going to be on a show called Takedown with Chris Hansen. It's a show about men who prey upon children. And you're the one who just got taken down. You want to tell me about the case in Georgia where you got busted for having sex with somebody underage there?
Ready to roll. High speed.
You want to tell me about being a registered sex offender here in Florida? You want to tell me about how you drove around last night? Started to come over here, changed your mind, then came back tonight?
Liberty is
Really?
sweet.
24 hours you've been messing around with this. You ever meet any other kids for sex, Willie? I know you did. You're in big trouble this time. Nothing else you want to say?
Willie, who was a motor mouth for a good 30, 40 minutes and certainly was prolific online trying to set up a date with a child, suddenly goes silent. And he got a lawyer okay. He sure did. And what was that lawyer able to do? Well, Willie entered into a plea agreement just a few months after his arrest, pleading guilty to some of the charges against him associated with meeting a child, trying to meet a child for sex, violation of his parole, of his status as a registered sex offender, and Willie is now back in prison for 9 years. As part of this plea deal, 9 years and change, actually. His release date will be June of 2033. I wonder how that attitude is working out for him in the Florida prison system. We wanted to see what else we could find out about Willie, and that's one of the reasons why we partnered with truthfinder.com, which I use during the course of these investigations and after the fact. It often lets me know exactly who I'm talking to and gives me ideas for questions when we're in the middle of these sting operations. And sure, police have their own methods of getting background information, as the sheriff's office did in this case. But TruthFinder is an essential tool for me, and it can be for you. We took a look at Willie Merrill on TruthFinder, and in fact confirmed the fact that he is a registered sex offender now in Florida and was also accused of inappropriate sexual conduct, statutory rape, in a case conducted by the Bureau of Investigations in Georgia. He also has some other criminal charges throughout his history, including absconding. If you're looking for the truth on someone, you can go to truthfinder.com/predators and let TruthFinder work for you. And as always, continue to follow our TruthFinder Predator updates here on this podcast. More of our story in a moment.
Check out the unit promoted.
As always, I like to hear from you, and this week's question comes from Jose in Prescott, Arizona.
Hey Chris, this is Jose from Prescott, Arizona. I just want to say thank you for keeping our community safe and our children safe from all these predators that are trying to have sex with them, because it's just sickening. My question for you is, I've listened to the interview that you've had with Casey Morrow, one of the decoys that you had on the original series To Catch a Predator. I was wondering, would you be willing to do an interview with Nervous Nelly, the decoy that you had for Hansen vs. Predator, because she also did an amazing job with her acting as a decoy, and it'd be great to hear what she's been doing in her life right now, and it would be great to hear like what her experience was like on Hansen vs. Predator. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a nice day, and maybe one day you could come to Prescott, Arizona. It's not as big as the other cities that you visit, but I would love to take you out for lunch or have some kind of beer or something like that. Maybe one day you should come here. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Jose, for your kind words and for your great idea. I did reach out on social media to Nervous Nelly a year or so ago, maybe a little bit more, and I didn't hear back. Now, maybe I didn't have the right social media page, or maybe I should do a little more research on where she is now, but she did do a phenomenal job in Fairfield, Connecticut during our investigation there. She was spectacular. She was a young college student at a local university at the time, and I believe she was studying theater, but she was fantastic. She worked well with the crew, and she certainly earned her keep in Predator investigative history for her work there. She was just a wonderful young lady. So, Jose, I will reach out again, and we will try to track her down, which I think is a great idea. Thanks so much for checking in. You can find me all over social media at Chris Hansen on X, official Chris Hansen on Instagram, Have a Seat with Chris Hansen on TikTok, Cameo Should You Desire. We have a second podcast now, Have a Seat with Chris Hansen, available wherever you get your podcasts. And we also have video versions of both podcasts, this one and the other, on my YouTube channel, Have a Seat with Chris Hansen. You'll see recently we posted an episode that was based upon a presentation we put together for CrimeCon on Roblox, the topic of a big documentary that we're working on now. Check it out. It's pretty compelling. And as are all the episodes, really, I think. Of course I do. You can also find me always on my streaming crime network, True Blue. That's TRUBLU. Watch trueblue.com for details. New takedown episodes, our Predator investigations, drop every Thursday. More in the works, in different jurisdictions. And as always, you can find me right here at chris@predatorpodcast.com. I'll be watching and listening.
Pushing away. Prism sensor stable.
I've confronted hundreds of men over 2 decades. Men online looking for children to sexually assault.
Cody, I'm Chris Hansen.
I tried to get into their heads and understand why.
But you have it on your phone.
And ultimately make sure they face justice.
Can I just give you some money and leave? I don't want money. I want the truth.
These are the predators I've caught. I'm Chris Hansen. We have conducted takedown and to catch a predator investigations in all sorts of neighborhoods. Most recently at a beautiful upper middle class home in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I think I actually recorded one of our recent episodes while I was there in Iron Mountain, Michigan. We've been in smaller homes, 6,000-foot mansions with swimming pools and hot tubs, and we've been in more modest surroundings. Trailer parks. It doesn't matter what kind of a house we're in. In fact, sometimes, as in our sting in Marion County, we use gas stations and convenience stores and hotels, all kinds of different places. God will show up. But in only one case that I can recall in 21 years of doing predator investigations, have we conducted a sting in a motorhome park, trailer park, whatever you want to call it, where two guys who actually lived in the trailer park showed up as predators in the sting. That's right. Two guys, neighbors. And one actually knew of the other and thought he was a predatory kind of guy. I'll get to that shortly. You may recall the cases, the episodes of Golf Cart Matt and Glory Hole Jerry. They literally each lived 500 to 1,000 feet from the sting house in the same trailer park, as I mentioned. In fact, we had to hold off Glory Hole Jerry because Golf Cart Matt got over there quicker in his golf cart. And we've talked about him in this episode. Glory Hole Jerry, and I'll explain his nickname in a moment, is actually Jerry Hetherington, who is now 56 years old. He surfaced in October of 2022, 3 years ago, right about now, in our very first sting operation in Monroe County, Michigan. Monroe County is on the shores of Lake Erie,
New coordinates processed.
just about at the Ohio-Michigan border.
Compensating for terrain.
And the sheriff there, Troy Goodenough,
in working condition. Compensating
wanted to send a message to his community that, you know, he wasn't going to tolerate this sort of behavior. And that's why they put together what they call the Viper team there.
Panels charged.
So the chatters are working. We're in this large trailer home. And Jerry starts to have a conversation with someone who's posing as a 14-year-old boy. Jerry indicates that he's 19 years old. Now remember, at the time, he was actually 53. He later lie and say that he was actually 47. I don't know why that's any better than 53, but certainly 19 was a way to groom a teenage boy into thinking that, well, the age difference isn't that big. This will be okay. Jerry said he was staying at his uncle's home and that there was a glory hole. Now, if you don't know what a glory hole is, it's basically a hole in a wall designed for anonymous ASAPs. Apparently, they're popular in places like Thailand where there are bars set up for this sort of activity. You can Google it, but be careful what you ask for, you might see it. Anyway, in real life, Jerry was actually talking to a detective with the Viper team.
Perfect hideout.
And brought him to the sheriff's for their questioning and booking.
He's already offered to come in.
That's right. According to the detective who was conducting the chat, Jerry offered the decoy money to come to his house, or his uncle's house, as he said. The Viper chatter is talking to a guy named Jerry, who says he's a 19-year-old.
No, he has not given me a location, but he said he's at his uncle's.
Oh, he's visiting his uncle in this neighborhood. Do we know how far away he is, or we just know he's in the neighborhood?
500 foot.
That's right. According to the geolocator attached to the app Jerry was using to talk to this 14-year-old boy, he's only 500 feet away from the sting house.
You ever have one of these things where two different guys were in the same neighborhood, essentially?
And the detective was just as surprised as I was to find out that the first two predators caught in our sting would live in the same neighborhood as the sting house.
I mean, I've never seen it before in any university.
I've not had this happen before either. We've had them very close by where they're in walking distance. We've had walkers several times, but not this. I mean, we could see the last down the street.
And rather than him coming to us, he wants the 14-year-old boy to come to him. And his reason is one that even I haven't heard before. And speaking of firsts, the reason Jerry uses to get the boy to come visit him is because, well, he's got that glory hole set up.
He has a glory hole set up. He wants.
In case you don't know, a glory hole is a hole in a wall designed for anonymous sexual encounters.
No one in 14 wants me to come there, walk in, use it, and leave without ever seeing him.
That's right. Jerry wants the boy to come over and use the glory hole to exchange oral sex, give and get, without even actually finding out the identity of the boy, not actually even meeting. He thinks he's got it all figured out.
This is a bad guy.
Yes.
What do you think the odds are this is the first time he's done this?
Slim to none.
The fact that he's so demanding, so organized, so detailed, and wanting this encounter to be anonymous indicates to both the detective and to me that Jerry's probably done this before.
When a guy agrees to show up, give me the sense of what you feel in terms of preventing an actual crime targeting a child.
We want to make sure it goes right, so we're trying to do everything by the books, but make sure that it's realistic enough where they're not scared off.
The detective shares with me the importance of conducting the chat without crossing the line into some sort of entrapment. Now remember, Jerry's with the first convoy. Jerry has raised the specter of sex, so entrapment really isn't an issue here, but the detectives are mindful that all of this could end up in front of a judge and jury.
Get him to the door and get him inside and walk and start trying to move a lot to not catch facial features and move and heavy responsibility to stop these guys before it becomes an actual victim.
Because if you're not here, if we're not here, a child could be.
Right.
And there's very little doubt as to what would happen if one of these guys walks in on a real child.
I think it's a great area to be in because there is a lot of trafficking going on around here, especially with the motels and stuff that we have around. So it's a very scary thought to, that this could possibly be a real child.
It's a sense of creating some sort of justice in an area where guys got away with this and continue to get away with this for so long because the crime is so ubiquitous.
Absolutely. And a lot of us got in this line of work to help people. I mean, that's really where it's not to be a police officer, to help others, but this is just another aspect to help the young and innocent that shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be out there, and that could potentially be a victim.
Police work is mainly reactive, but this is proactive. This is taking the fight to the bad guy.
There's been a new development with Glory Hole Jerry, and it's one that I've seen all too many times before.
If you want to grow, I will still come. Just understand. Don't understand. If not, let me know. I'm 47.
Wow. So he's gone from 19 to 47.
Yeah.
In the span of this conversation.
Yeah. And he just said that was a friend of a family's face picture.
So he showed you a picture that was
obviously he's trying to lure people in now.
Younger.
So this is a little bit more.
Right.
I mean, this is a predator.
Right. Clearly. 47.
Pretending to be 19, sending.
That of St. Peter. Yet as the centuries went by, the access to this tomb became impossible.
The Soviet Empire.
The initial tomb itself completely disappeared under the constructions that came afterwards.
We haven't seen what's down below since the 4th century, and so we can easily imagine that there's nothing there.
New construction options.
During the Renaissance, the very tomb of St. Peter becomes a myth. Some Protestants, such as Luther, declare that there's neither tomb nor relics under the Vatican, because St. Peter never came to Rome.
there is a lot of debate about whether Peter himself died here. So that makes the existence of the bones slightly problematic.
In the 20th century, archaeologists will finally try to solve this 2,000-year-old riddle. To do so, they have to dig right under the basilica in search of St. Peter's tomb, and in doing so, perhaps uncover the precious relics of the Prince of the Apostles.
Of course, nobody really knew what was going to be underneath the basilica, and so really this was opening up to who knows what.
Ready, comrade.
What truly lies under the basilica in the Vatican, and what can we learn from the analysis carried out on the relics found there? Do these bones truly belong to St. Peter?
Waiting orders. For the Union. Ready, comrade. Target sighted.
The history of these extraordinary excavations begins in February 1939, right before World War II.
Moving. Target sighted.
Well, this is in 1939. Pope Pius XI dies, and in his will, he asks to be buried as close as possible to the tomb of St. Peter.
Looks like good place to mine. Making Russia strong.
The new Pope, Pius XII, will do everything he can to respect the will of his predecessor. On the 28th of June 1939, he orders tricky archaeological excavations that will last 10 years. They have to dig under a 22,000 square meter basilica that could collapse under its own weight at any time.
Digging below St. Peter's Basilica was probably a rather difficult adventure because it could destabilize the building.
Vehicle reporting.
They say the excavations are very secretive, very discreet. People shouldn't know too much about it, and it absolutely couldn't disturb the worship.
7 meters underground, archaeologists unearthed a vast necropolis with many mausoleums, a massive city of the dead buried. So there was indeed a graveyard next to Nero's arena, where the corpses of the Christians executed in the arena could have been buried. Yet the most important archaeological discovery was yet to come.
Vehicle reporting. Waiting.
They find a peculiar arrangement, some kind of small dedicated space within the mausoleums, and against a wall painted red, they find some kind of small monument.
Vehicle reporting. Changing position.
The building is in ruins, but today we're able to reconstruct an image of the original monument. It was a rather simple mausoleum, about 2 to 3 meters high with small columns on the sides. Is this St. Peter's tomb? That's what Emperor Constantine believed during the 4th century in any case, because this building was found right in the center of the first St. Peter's Basilica.
It was treated as a place of pilgrimage to Peter's, and that becomes kind of the archaeological seed from which the subsequent basilica grows.
However, the date the monument was built is problematic. It seems to date back to 160 AD, which is 1 century after Peter's death. Could this building truly be a tomb, or is it rather a symbolic funeral monument built to worship St. Peter?
Moving out.
To prove that it is indeed his tomb, archaeologists looked for bones inside the monument, but they didn't find any. So where were the relics shown by Pope Francis in 2003?
Do you have a plan? Get closer. Waiting orders.
3 years after the excavations ended in 1953, the quest for St. Peter's relics takes a new, unexpected turn, thanks to the perseverance of researcher Margherita Guaducci.
She believes the tomb is authentic, and she convinces the Pope that they need to undertake new excavations, which she'll be in charge
Pride of the working class. Let's clear the air. Getting in closer.
Margherita Guaducci studies the walls around the monument. They're covered with strange writings. At first glance, they look like simple lines, but in truth, they're a code used by the first Christians.
Ready for transport. Making vehicle reporting. Changing position.
The graffiti have largely eroded, they're incomplete, but the scraps that we have mentioned his name, you pray for me, or something like that.
She she's able to identify the sign for St. Peter that the first Christians carved. This is a P with a cross. The two lines below represent the keys that are associated with him, but there's no mention of any relics.
Ready for deployment.
However, everything will change when analysing a fragment of the wall lying on the ground close to the tomb. The writings aren't complete, but what she does decipher will give her the solution to the mystery of the relics.
She reads Petros Eni, which means Peter is inside. And so she's convinced that his bones are indeed here.
Margherita Guarducci is convinced that the bones are inside the wall she's been studying for months, and where the sign of Peter has been carved several times. She then investigates the archaeological work carried out during the 1940s and discovers something amazing. 10 years ago, bones were actually found in a hole inside the wall, but the team of archaeologists didn't pay them much attention since they were outside the tomb they targeted.
Where have the bones been stored? Nobody really knows anymore. So she does some more research and ends up finding the box in a cupboard.
Margherita Guarducci discovers several bone fragments along with dirt and what's left of golden threads. During antiquity, important people were buried like that, wrapped in gold-threaded clothes. The bones are handed over to an independent laboratory to be analysed, and the conclusions seem promising.
Anthropological studies confirm that they're all bones from the same man. A sturdy person, rather old.
Everything seems to fall into place. Peter was a fisherman, so he was probably sturdy. And the man is estimated to have been around 70 years old when he died, which is about Peter's age. This is the perfect epilogue for the family. In 1964, Pope Paul VI, who took over after Pius XII, announces officially that the tomb and relics of St. Peter have been found again. But Margherita Guarducci's investigation is soon questioned. The story of a box laid aside for years sounds suspicious. How did the bones end up inside the wall? And what happened between Peter's death and the construction of the funeral monument during the 2nd century?
What we can say is that this monument was probably built to shelter Peter's bones.
Let's clear the air.
But considering what the bones found there are his, we think that nothing has changed, that the bones haven't moved.
We know that the hole where the bones were found has been opened before. Medieval coins were discovered there, and the skeleton is incomplete. Is it possible that some bones were taken and brought somewhere else? This would match the story of the relics in Santa Maria in Cappella, the church in Rome, where peculiar urns were unearthed in 2014. Archaeological analysis carried out here tells us that Pope Urban II brought the bones here during the 11th century.
At the time, Urban II still had access to St. Peter's original tomb. So it's quite possible that he took part of the bones and transferred them here in a church that he owned.
Waiting orders.
The story of a pope who would desecrate the tomb of the Prince of the Apostles seems incredible. Yet, during the Middle Ages, the relics were so important that this theory makes sense.
Moving. Vehicle reporting.
It's not so surprising that a pope would go ahead and dismember the body of a saint. The church has forbidden this only recently. During the Middle Ages, it was common practice.
I have important mission. Ready, comrade. Airship ready. Setting new course. Ready, comrade. Moving. Gearing reporting. Helium mix optimal. Maneuver prompts engaged. Ready.
In Rome, deep in the heart of the Vatican, they say there is an amazing object.
It becomes one of the real marvels of the city, and one of the chief things that a pilgrim would go and see and venerate.
Not a painting or icon, but a true image of Jesus Christ. It is called the Veil of Veronica.
The Veronica was believed to be a piece of fabric that touched the face of Christ and then bore a miraculous image.
Venerated for over 1,000 years, this was once the most prized relic in Christendom and an object of pilgrimage. But one man has a shocking revelation. He believes the object in the Vatican is a fake. And he knows, because he's found a real one. This is the story of Paul Badder's journey of discovery to find what had happened to the true face of God.
Confessing that this face has been lost, it was a hard thing to do.
If he is right, his discovery could have huge implications for the history of the Church and for the future of Christianity itself.
It was the first time for around 500 years that the Pope saw and venerated the true face of Christ.
Airship ready. Bombardiers to your station.
The story began at a dinner in Thierry, when journalist and author Paul Badder met German art historian Professor Heinrich Pfeiffer.
Ready for transport.
Father Pfeiffer told Paul an amazing tale that, if true, could rewrite history, be the most significant discovery in Christianity, and show how what was once one of the most venerated objects in the Vatican could be a fraud.
I raised my glass to him
You have a plan.
and thought he must have been crazy.
The story revolved around a fabulous relic, the Veil of Veronica, whose origins are immortalized in most churches as the so-called sixth station of the cross. The stations of the cross take us through Christ's last terrible journey to his execution.
Every church has these images that we call the Stations of the Cross, and that allows us to accompany Jesus as he makes his way from his condemnation to death by Pontius Pilate right up to the moment of crucifixion and his burial.
Step by step, the stations tell the tale of the horrific suffering Jesus faced in the lead-up to his death.
He was scourged and crowned with thorns before he carried the cross through the narrow streets of Jerusalem.
Along the way, Jesus is met by friends and supporters who share in his pain and suffering. One of them was said to be a woman known as Veronica.
A pious woman of Jerusalem saw Christ suffering and bleeding and sweating, and she took her sweat cloth, which was a cloth she was wearing around her head, and gave it to him to dry his face from blood and sweat.
The legend has it that when Christ handed the cloth back to her, miraculously, an image of his face had transferred to the material.
Moving.
But it is only a story. Veronica herself is not actually mentioned in the Bible.
The legend of Veronica is moving us because it is a legend of compassion and love and a miracle. And it allows us to have an image of Christ.
Whatever its actual origin, stories of a cloth bearing a miraculous image of Christ, not made by human hands, continued to circulate throughout the early Christian period.
There's a whole interconnected network of legends about a miraculous image of Jesus' face, which seem to come from different sources and have different motivations behind them.
Airship ready. Setting new course. Helium mix optimal.
Somehow, this miraculous cloth with its image of Christ made its way to Rome.
The first documented evidence of the Veronica being in Rome is from 705, when Pope John VII built a shrine for the Veronica.
By 1200, the Veronica was on permanent display in St. Peter's Basilica, and thousands of people flocked to see it. This image became hugely important to the world of art. Until then, artists had no idea of what Jesus actually looked like. There are no clues in the Gospels, so they depicted him in an idealistic or genuine way.
There are images of Jesus in the catacombs and elsewhere from the 2nd and 3rd centuries where Jesus just looks like a normal young Roman man, clean-shaven, a bit plump. You can only identify him by the fact that he's performing a miracle. And he's normally doing it in the way that a Roman god would do. So, for example, he's curing someone by touching them with a stick.
But when the Veronica appeared, all that changed. Now, artists and worshippers could look at an actual image of a real face.
It was very visual, and especially in the Middle Ages, the visual side of the faith was tremendously important. Having this imprint of Christ's face was almost as good as having a photograph.
You had an idea how God who became man really looks. God was not an idea, it was a face. God got a face, a human face.
This same face was seen and copied by many of the great artists and appeared in more and more works. It became the model for Jesus. The characteristics are always the same. The parted hair, the thin beard, the nose and mouth.
The Veronica was copied widely, and the simplified image of Christ's face was distributed across the world.
In fact, this image became so popular that a whole guild of specialist artists was created just to meet the demand. The Veronica proved not only a potent symbol, but also a great source of revenue as an object of pilgrimage.
The Veronica becomes a very important relic in Rome, that there's a chapel dedicated to it in St. Peter's. It soon becomes even the symbol of pilgrimage to Rome. So it becomes one of the real marvels of the city, and one of the chief things that a pilgrim would go and see and venerate.
Successive popes used the Veronica to increase their prestige and influence.
Innocent III is particularly interested in promoting the Veronica, in part to promote the city of Rome itself and to encourage the pilgrimage to Rome.
Pope Innocent III granted indulgences for those who prayed before the Veronica, gave it its own feast day, and even promenaded it around the city.
The highlight of the Holy Year was the showing of the Veronica, because this was the encounter with Christ on earth when they were still alive.
Eventually, the Veronica became big business. Numbers visiting Rome became so vast that the decision was made to tear down the old Basilica of St. Peter's and rebuild it.
Squared away, sir!
One of the ways in which popes of the early Renaissance proclaimed their authority and created their legacy was through major building projects. And St. Peter's is a good example of a Renaissance pope crafting his legacy with an oversized building project.
Dominating the center of this magnificent new basilica is the altar, which according to tradition was built above the tomb of St. Peter.
Vehicle ready.
And then around it, they have these 4 pillars where they place the relics which were so popular in the Middle Ages. The head of St. Andrew, the veil of Veronica, the Holy Lance, and also part of the true cross. And each of these relics, in a sense, being a cornerstone, a pillar of this new Basilica of St. Peter's, the heart of the church.
In other words, the Veronica had become one of the great pillars of the Catholic Church.
Destination, Commander?
But then Rome entered a dark period of disruption and violence, and everything changed.
24/7. Destination, Commander? Bound forward. Everything's made to fit. On the go.
On the 6th of May, 1527, Rome was looted and attacked, ironically, by the troops of the Holy Roman Empire.
The sack of Rome was a catastrophe for the Roman Church. For 1,000 years, Rome was a safe place, where all the pilgrims and the kings and the emperors who came to Rome left important donations at St. Peter.
In an orgy of violence, 500 men were slain in front of the altar, and many of the relics it had housed disappeared.
According to the contemporary reports, the most important relics were given away in a pub, and drinking soldiers were drying their mouth with the veil of Veronica.
Chronominer reporting for duty. It's in the bag. Destination, Commander? Yes, sir. Ready to roll. Outstanding.
In time, the dust settled, and the new St. Peter's Basilica was finally completed and consecrated. But by then, something had obviously changed. Although the Vatican still claimed to have the Veronica safe, it was no longer on public display. And on the rare occasions when it was shown, it seemed to look different.
Certainly the Veronica was not a clear, shiny image anymore, but a dark cloth with some traces of blood.
It led some to wonder if the original face of God had been lost.
So the big question is, what happened to the original Veronica, the beautiful Veronica, which was painted by the painters in the Middle Ages? It disappeared. And here we have the discovery of Father Pfeiffer.
Destination, Commander? Commencing assault. Everything's made to fit. Ready to soar.
At the dinner in Turin, Father Pfeiffer outlined his theory to Paul Bader, that the real face of God was no longer in the Vatican. Paul was skeptical. He had been warned of Pfeiffer's fantastical claims before. But Father Pfeiffer went further, claiming he knew where the real Veronica was now. 120 miles away, in a small town called Manapello.
He said, yes, there is something quite unknown on a little remote hilltop in the Abruzzo Mountains. He said, how come the whole world doesn't know? He said, yeah, that's a mystery. You know, he made it even more mysterious, and so it was just completely unbelievable.
Paul dismissed the whole theory.
I thought it's a fine story, but that was it. I wasn't even curious about Brink.
But this chance meeting would prove to be a turning point in Paul's life. Some months later, whilst travelling with his daughter down the Adriatic coast, Paul found himself near Manapello, in the church that Father Pfeiffer had claimed was the home to the real Veronica.
Then we got there, and I thought it was about lunchtime, so maybe we could have a little lunch up there and have a look at it.
The town of Manapello, nestled within the mountainous region of Abruzzo, is in a remote area, off the beaten track, and largely forgotten by the outside world.
We got off the highway, the restaurant was closed, and I got here to the church.
Walking into the church, Paul saw the image for the first time.
The church had a mass, and after the mass I got up there, and this image was just, I mean, he looked at me.
Paul was immediately struck by the eyes, the gaze of Christ on this transparent image.
Seeing somebody's face is really seeing the person. looking into somebody's eyes, looking at their expression, we can learn so much about that person. We believe that God became man in Jesus Christ, and to be able to see that face as it existed in his humanity, it would be a wonderful link with the divine nature.
Creeping ahead. You won't. Look natural. Want some shade? Going mobile.
Paul noticed that the material was so fine that in certain light, the image almost vanished, only returning when illuminated by a torch.
It is constantly exposed, and you can walk nearby, you can walk around, you can take pictures from any direction, and you can see how the light from the many windows in the church go through it. You can put your hand behind it, you can see your hand. You can put a newspaper behind it, and you can read the newspaper because it is so thin and so fine. And when you get very close to it, you see that the image itself is translucent. You don't see any color.
Paul could have gazed at the image forever, but was pressed for time.
My daughter, she was very impatient. Let's get off, I'm hungry, let's have something to eat. So she dragged me away, but I had to look at it one more time.
Look, now want some shade? Now you see me?
And then he looked at me as if somebody would just be waiting.
Deeply affected, but not sure of what he'd just seen, Paul couldn't bring himself to believe it was the real thing. And after leaving, put it to one side. 2 years passed, and after working abroad as the Jerusalem correspondent of the German daily newspaper, Paul returned to Rome. It was here that the Veronica reappeared in his life once again.
So, around the corner I saw a little poster announcing, not a press conference, a lecture of a certain Pater Pfeiffer. That's my Pater Pfeiffer. So I have to see him. I have to see him again. I have to see what he's going to tell me about the image.
Father Heinrich Pfeiffer is a German Jesuit scholar specializing in medieval religious art.
Father Pfeiffer is one of the leading art historians of the Christian world. A highly educated man and very important art historian.
During the course of the lecture, Father Pfeiffer reiterated his claim that the Manipello image is the veil of Veronica. During the talk, Paul was struck by the detail in the magnified close-ups. Seeing them brought a sudden revelation. It was real, and he believed in it.
I thought, this is it. It must be, everything must be true, but these images, there's no comparison to it. I hadn't seen photos like this before.
He was so fascinated that it became the mission of his life to spread the message of the human image of God around the world.
Paul was desperate to tell the world about these miraculous images and write a book, but he knew how hard it would be to convince people. It was a formidable challenge. He would need a lot of evidence to win over skeptics. The first question is, how can there even be a face displayed in Manipello if there is already a veil of Veronica in the Vatican?
Every year on Passion Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. you can see what today is venerated in St. Peter's, the Veronica, because the canons of St. Peter's appear on the balcony and bless the faithful with the modern day Veronica, which is in a huge, heavy silver frame. But you can't see a human face.
Calculating reflection arc.
Drawing on all his Roman contacts, he tried to secure a meeting with the Vatican authorities. Eventually, in summer of 2004, after much persistence, he was granted an audience with Professor Arnold Nesselrath.
He's the director of the Vatican Museums. He's a very prestigious position. He's a high respected person in the world of art.
Transformer panels in order.
Keen to learn the Vatican's angle on the Manipello image, Paul met with Professor Nesselrath. He eagerly showed him pictures of the Manipello face.
Tanks are no match. Visiting sensors, state unit reporting. Good to go. Chronominer reporting for duty.
And questioned the professor about what it could be.
Sir, yes, sir.
But Professor Nesselrath would not be drawn into the debate about the Manipello image.
How about some action?
He had heard something of it, and he had heard something of Paolo Pfeiffer. And he was from the big front who had decided about Paolo Pfeiffer, and he's not to be taken serious.
Professor Nesselrath would neither lend any credence to the Manipello image, nor let Paul see the Vatican's Veronica. When pressed to go and examine the image in Manipello for himself,
Good day, Commander.
the professor declined, claiming it was beyond his jurisdiction. The official channels had got him nowhere. He needed a different approach for his investigation.
Destination, Commander? Outstanding.
If he can't see the Vatican's image, he needed to find out more about the one in Manipello. When had it arrived? And how had it got there?
Readjusting stabilizers.
The problem with something like the image of Manipello is that there just isn't a paper trail, basically. So we know this object has been here in Manipello for a certain amount of time. We know that it arrived there under certain circumstances, but before that, who knows, basically. There's just no way of telling.
Paul realized that if it is real, then the most likely time for its arrival in Manipello would have been around 1527, during the sack of Rome.
Made for speed.
And there seemed to be a link. Paul's research showed that Pope Clement took refuge in the Castle Sant'Angelo after the sack of Rome. Something as valuable as the Veronica wouldn't have been left behind.
Positional data received.
Whilst waiting for the looting to end, Paul thought it possible that the commander of the castle had it spirited away to safety far from Rome.
Need a conversion?
Intriguingly, the commander had an estate in Manipello. But it all seemed to make sense.
One very realistic perspective is what Bade believes in, that the Castello Sant'Angeli, who had land in Manipello, safeguarded it and brought it there to protect it.
But confusingly, there is another version of events.
In 1506, a stranger appeared in Manipello and gave it to a local. And this local wanted to ask questions, but suddenly the stranger disappeared and he believed he was an angel.
This didn't add up, as 1506 is 21 years before the sack of Rome. Paul then looked at what was happening during this period and discovered very little was written about the Veronica for 100 years after the sack of Rome, until the consecration of St. Peter's Basilica in 1626. Officially, the Veronica was still there, housed within one of the four famous pillars. But Paul discovered something puzzling. In 1629, Pope Urban VIII stopped the veil being displayed. The lucrative trade in copies was prohibited, and he demanded all existing copies be destroyed on pain of excommunication. It was as if someone was trying to hide something.
On the go. Yep.
It was important to recall all the images of the Veronica which has disappeared, and to wait until it disappears from the memory of pilgrims and Christian faithful.
Paul discovered that the story of an angel bringing the image to Manapello first appeared during the time the images were being destroyed. When the Manapello image was scrutinized, 12 townspeople came up with the story that their face of God was brought to them by an angel long before the sack of Rome. To Paul, now this story made sense. The villagers had used this tale to pretend their image couldn't possibly be of the real Veronica, and by doing so, had protected their image from destruction.
It was to disguise something. And then they invented the story, an angel has brought it here, what you can do easily in Italy, because Italy is full of saints. Miracles are not strange to Italians.
Only after time had passed did the Vatican start showing the Veronica again. But it seemed different and much darker.
The replacement was not a good or bad copy, but something completely different. You had to destroy the original images and replace them by what you have. Later the Vatican gave out new prints of the Veronica which resembled what they have today, but this is a clear indication that the original relic disappeared and was exchanged.
The evidence for this can be found in art. Now, not only did it look completely different, so did the copies made by artists. It all seemed to suggest that the original had been lost. Paul was now certain that the original couldn't be in the Vatican, and that at some point the image was exchanged and a new one put in its place. But to prove that, he needed more evidence. He looked at early descriptions of the veil. In the past, it was recorded as being almost transparent. Even the Protestant reformer Martin Luther said it was like a translucent piece of linen. Unlike the blackened image in the Vatican, the Manapello image fitted that description.
Good day, Commander.
There are many compelling reasons to think that that might be the case. The fact that the veil is transparent, that we can see through it, and we knew that was the case for the medieval Veronica.
Convoy.
Paul's attempts to see the Vatican's Veronica continued to be rebuffed. Thinking laterally, he decided to visit their vast treasury museum. He was looking for any evidence that would tie the Manapello image to Rome before 1527.
Unit reporting.
In the treasury of St. Peter's, there is a broken frame in which the Veronica was once kept. A frame that you could observe from both sides, just like in Manopello, and roughly the same dimensions.
For Paul, it was another clue. Only a transparent image that could be viewed from both sides would ever be displayed in this way.
To have a frame which is translucent only makes sense if you have a translucent cloth, like the veil of Manopello. The dimensions fit. And this is why we believe that the original Veronica, which was venerated in this frame, is what we today call the veil of Manopello.
If the true Veronica was still in the Vatican, why had this frame been smashed and the original cut away?
Taking all the information together which we have, there's no doubt about it. It must have been the sack of Rome.
Paul concluded it was the Manapello image that was torn from this smashed frame. The image even has a glass chip still embedded in it.
The story of this frame is giving even more credence to the theory of Professor Pfeiffer and Paul Gade that the true Veronica of the Middle Ages is a Manopello today.
It is a conflict about plausibility. if somebody comes up with a theory which is more plausible, I'm the first one to applaud it. The first one.
For Paul, the evidence linking the Manipello image to the original Veronica was conclusive. He was certain that they are one and the same. This now begged the biggest question of all. Could this really be the face of God? And if so, how had it been created? Paul went back to the original story and looked for clues. The problem is, Saint Veronica doesn't exist in the Bible.
One of the striking features of the Western version of the legend is the character of Veronica herself, a saint kind of created by clerical error, if you like. The name obviously derives from the Latin for the true icon, or Latin and Greek. The true image of Christ becomes the Vera Icone Veronica. You've invented a saint.
In other words, there never was a Veronica. Her name simply referred to the cloth itself.
The legend of Veronica was only one of many attempts to explain what we really have. But the name is revealing what we are talking about. Vera Iconia, the true image, was not the name of a woman, but the name of the image.
The implications of this are enormous. If Veronica did not exist, then the image could not have been created when she had wiped Jesus' face on the way to the crucifixion. So how did it get there? Paul examined the material itself and discovered how extraordinarily fine it was. It didn't look like linen or even silk. But what could it be? Researching on the internet, he came across an ancient fabric called byssus.
There are several types of byssus in antiquity, but the most precious one was created from the silk of a shell of a mussel. It's called pinna nobilis. It's a very large Mediterranean mussel, 90 centimeters. Large thing.
Divers harvested byssus by hand. It took thousands of threads to make the smallest piece of silk. And as a result, it was extremely valuable. Byssus was so precious, it had long been revered as a religious material. Critically, it was used during the time of Christ.
It was the most precious fabric in the antique times. You find it in the graves of the pharaohs in Egypt. You find it in the cloth of the high priest, the ephod made of byssus. In the curtain of the temple, byssus was mentioned. It's mostly translated in English, for instance, shining linen.
Positional data received.
But was the Manipello image made of byssus? Continuing his research, Paul tracked down a woman in Sardinia, the last mussel silk cultivator.
Watch my dust.
He flew her to Manipello to see the image for herself.
Running smooth.
We brought her here to the image of the veil. She got on her knees. She said, oh dear, that's byssus. That's mussel silk.
And she's a cop, and she tries to get a guy out of the car, and guess what? She can't do it. Every so often, you know, I love bringing these videos up because it shows that women have no place on a active out in the streets patrolling police force. You want to get crossing guard duty? Maybe you want to sit in the precinct or the offices and be data entry. Whatever they let you do as a police officer, as a woman, is fine as long as it isn't dealing with people out there on the streets. You want to drive around with a guy partner? I know the guys don't like this because they're ineffective when he needs a partner for real backup. So I've read a few comments and it says, these women should not be out alone. They should be teamed up with a male officer. And no, not even that. Yeah, they shouldn't be out alone. But you don't endanger the male officer now because you're putting him with someone who is completely ineffectual. When things like strength are needed, quick decision making are needed. Can you take down, can you run, catch, take down, and get cuffed a perpetrator, a male perpetrator on the streets? No, I don't think they can. It is all up to the perp. Everything that happens between a male perpetrator of average male size and physical fitness, everything that happens depends on what that perpetrator wants to do. He's in control. If he decides, oh, I'm being arrested. Well, I did do something wrong. This woman is the police officer, and I will put my hands behind my back, and she can arrest me. There, she has an arrest. And then they go, see, women can do police work. She arrested somebody. They don't realize that the guy, the bad guy, is 100% in control of that situation and where it's going to go. And I'm not even talking about her shooting him, which we've talked about before. That prospect is a lot more apt to happen with a female officer because she cannot utilize that that scale, that gradient scale of violence that a cop needs to put upon the perpetrator. It starts as verbal commands and goes all the way up to use of deadly physical force, shooting them. Hi, this is Anthony Cumia.
And hello, I am Gavin McInnes.
Together, we're Compound Censored.
And we'd like you to subscribe to our network that has more fantastic content you could shake a stick at. Use this promo code for a one-time super offer.
Do it. It's uncensored and oh so entertaining. But in between are so many tools available to a male officer. Initial hands-on, less lethal stuff like tasers and batons, fighting, punching, really, hands-on escalation of fighting. The woman has verbal commands, shoot to kill. That's it. Anything in between, unless the guy, like I said, who's in control, says, all right, you can arrest me. The perp is dictating everything that happens. The woman cannot go to a toolbox and utilize any of those intermediate tools that a male police officer can utilize while trying to control a suspect. Verbal command, shoot the motherfucker. And it's proven over and over and over again. We've been through this. So here is a female cop who needs assistance from a female that comes in to help because she is being overpowered by this guy who, like I said, is in complete control of this conflict.
This is the dramatic moment a passerby helps a female cop detain an out-of-control suspect after a wild chase. Trooper Alexandria Duncan had pulled over Angel Zapet Alvarado for speeding at 114 miles per hour, but the situation quickly escalated when he resisted arrest.
Get out of the car! Put your hands behind your back! Why? We're going to jail.
Witnessing the struggle, Kylie Sutton bravely intervened, risking her own safety to assist Trooper Duncan.
He throws it. Pause for a minute here. She cannot control this guy physically. She cannot do it. The guy ended up getting her taser. The guy threw the taser away from the cop. He didn't want to be tased. But again, who's in control at that point? The guy. The guy was like, oh, I got the taser now. I can tase her, or I could throw the taser away. He's in complete control. He might have been thinking, if I tase her, she's going to go for her gun. Maybe he's thinking that. I don't know why he's fighting her. He doesn't want to be arrested. She cannot make that decision right here alone. She apparently, obviously, cannot control him. This woman pulls over and decides she's going to help out in some way. So let's watch.
Sounds good. Give me that taser now.
Waiting order. Moving. Waiting order. Changing position.
He's back on top. She should have, pause again. The woman that came to help, she was in a perfect place to choke that motherfucker out. She's not a cop. She doesn't have any restrictions on pulling that guy back by his neck and choking him. And she decides, back it up a little, Sean. She decides to go for his arms, which are on the officer. But in that instance, you know, hey, look, she's doing her best. I don't know how knowledgeable she is about jiu-jitsu or anything. She seems like a rough and tumble kind of a, she could take care of herself kind of lady. But yeah, that would have been a good opportunity to get her arm around that fucker's neck, because he would have had to release the cop to get her arms off of his throat, which would have maybe given the cop an opportunity to use something to get him under control. So, yeah, watch this.
Vehicle report.
Or taser. Right there, she could have done that.
With Sutton's help in restraining the suspect, Duncan was able to draw her service weapon, firing one round that struck Zapet Alvarado in the right temple, wounding him. Zapet Alvarado was transported to Mercy Hospital, Northwest Arkansas, where he was treated and later released to law enforcement. Trooper Duncan received treatment for non-life-threatening injuries. Had it not been for Sutton's heroic actions, this could have ended tragically.
She's like, ma'am, move. Hey, I'm helping you here. And then, in the end, we find out she had to shoot him. She shot him. It was a graze wound to the side of his head. Either that or she shot, it hit the ground, and something, debris might have hit him in the head. But if he was treated and released later that day, it wasn't a temple shot in the head to that extent. So, again, proving what we say here all the time. She had to resort to firing her weapon at this guy because she could not control a situation that a male officer could have controlled. A male officer in that situation is getting that guy cuffed. The female, with help from another female, still had to shoot the guy. Why this failed experiment continues is beyond me. But Hey, all you ladies, you want to be in a man's world. You want the jobs. The glass ceiling needs to be broken. We want to belong to the clubs, and we want this and that.
Vessel ready.
You're not capable. You're just not capable of doing it. Women and men, unbelievably different. In every way possible. Unbelievably different. And the people that don't believe that are idiots. Delusional, and have been brainwashed by the media and women's groups and all that other shit, to the point where it has actually put people in danger. Their lives are in danger because of the lie that women are just as capable as men to do any job, anything. Women are just as capable. That lie has cost people their lives. So, I don't know, it'll never change. It'll never change, right? Am I right? People will fight tooth and nail to try to continue this lie. And they will argue it, and people will die, and they will argue that nope, women are just as good at every single thing a man can do. And it's proven, absolutely proven, that is not true. So we all have to, because, you know, people's feelings will be hurt, we all have to live with just a little more danger in our lives. Female cops out there puts all of our lives just a little more in danger. Because, you know, you don't want to hurt someone's feelings and tell them they're not capable of doing something. Oh my gosh. Common fuck sense, people. My dad used to say
Yes, Commander.
Common sense. Simple common sense. This is simple common sense.
Captain confirming.
But until the powers that be aren't so afraid of hurting people's feelings and want to actually do something. You saw the to-do that happened when Hegseth said no more transgender people in the military. Everyone went fucking, what? Because they're not capable of doing the job. They are not capable of being a combat soldier. They are detrimental to a fighting force. If they are with a group of men and they go into battle, a transgender soldier is a detriment to that fighting force. And they lost their minds over that. Imagine women telling all women, nope, sorry. And then, you know what they would do? You know what women would do? If somehow someone is smart enough to say women can't be cops anymore. Women would be like, see? They just want us in the kitchen and making babies. This isn't the 1800s, my friend. We are out there and we're... First of all, you should be in the kitchens or making babies. But let's not even bring that up.
Commander. Navigating. Fire at
it would be, no, you could get other jobs. Other jobs that even men have. Just not jobs where you need the physical and mental part that a man is better at than you are.
Close and fire.
And that is a job needed for the public safety. That's it. What do you want to do? You want to work at a fucking, as a mechanic? Predominantly male-oriented job?
Yes, Commander.
You go into a gas station, you apply, you know all the stuff you need to know. There you go. Maybe a man can help you take the tire off the car that's on the ramp because it's too heavy. But at least no one's getting killed unless you fuck up and the lift comes down on you. But any idiot can do that. I'm not saying that that is a specifically male or female thing. I'm talking about having to pull a gun out because you're too weak to fight. and too emotional to make a rationally thought-out decision in a split second. Women have too much emotion floating around there. It blocks logic and reason. So, there's your latest clip on women shouldn't be fucking cops. There shouldn't be. Oh boy, I'm going to try to get through the whole show without a black story.
Making tracks.
Oh boy.
Let's clear the air.
Oh, that's the Amazon.
Yes,
Oh,
Commander.
God.
Engines engaged.
Oh no, she
Target
is.
sighted.
Ready,
Commander.
Black. He's a person of color. Here's a thug.